again. Hello again. Y'all, we live. We trying again. Take two. Come on in. We outside. I am outside getting a walk in. Y'all know how I like to do it. When I do intentional walks, minimum 3 miles. Come on in. I'll give y'all some time to come on in. I have started up another live. Ciao. Got jacked up. I got jacked all the way up in the live. I had to start it all over. Mama always seemed to call when I hit go live. Come on in. Hit the like button as you come on in. What do you all have going on today? We are getting it in. We outside today. I said, I don't want to do a workout in front of the camera today. I want to be outside. Listen, Ariane, welcome back. My mama always call when I go live. It don't be nobody else. It don't be the husband. It don't be Jesus. It don't be the sister, the neighbor, the kids. It be my mama. I'm just out here trying to be great. Usually she'll be like, well, I'll call you when I can't get you. Then I think, oh, maybe she's live. I wish she'd do it the other way. Check to see if I'm live first. I'm always live, it feels like these days. How y'all doing? Come on in. I am getting a walk in, so y'all know I live the fit life. So when I get walks in, it's a minimum of 3 miles. Getting a walk in, so I don't always work out in front of the camera. I like to be outside. It's actually my preferred type of exercise, but I don't do it as much lately as I like to because I seem to be doing all the other stuff that you all see me doing on the internet. So come on in. How y'all doing? Did any of you catch my live last night on my second channel, ChicSpeaks, on it? That was a really good live. We had a pretty good turnout with that. We even talked a little bit. Talked some about the Queen of Kings content at the end. I plan to do a live on my second channel. ChicSpeaks on it about the updates as far as with the Queen of Kings, because y'all, I got some questions. So make sure you'll follow me on ChicSpeaks on it, because I do have a live coming very soon. We'll see how today goes. Y'all, I'm outside today, so I'm getting my walk in. Then I got to go to the grocery store to get my food items and things, try to get it as prepared as I'm going to be for Thanksgiving. So I said, well, let me go ahead and turn the camera on and do a walk and talk, because it's been a while since I've done one. How y'all doing? What y'all got going on? What's been going on? Have y'all been following the craziness that's going on out here with either all the people coming out pertaining to Diddy, the trophy wife saga? We got Queen of Kings. Y'all, it's a lot going on. And I've been trying my very, very best to keep up with all of it, because it's so much going on, a lot of moving parts. So a lot of times when you all don't see me in front of the camera, I am doing my research, investigating, looking for answers to questions that I have, so I can bring it all to you, because I like to kind of deep dive into things when I do come on here and talk to you about different matters. And I definitely did a deep dive into ISIS. If any of you familiar with, y'all let me know if you're familiar with the area. I say YouTube streets going down. Yes, it's going down. That's why I'm out here walking. I got to walk it out. It's a lot. Y'all, last night's live stream was almost 4 hours, I think. I think it was almost 4 hours, but it was really good. We got all into ISIS business and the situation with her and the husband who she's accusing of essaying the babies. So it was just a lot to that. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of more that's going to come out pertaining to that. So that's what we talked about last night. I'm going to continue to follow that. Y'all, I really feel like that story and everything pertaining to it, it might end up turning out to be kind of like with Rose Miller with the Queen of Kings, where you're constantly kind of following it and seeing what's going on, following it just to see kind of what's the next thing that's going to take place. Because y'all, it's serious. It's just crazy. It's so all over the place. And it reminds me of back when I first any of you all day ones, like when I first started talking about Rose Miller in July, and I did my first video on it. And my first video on Rose Miller was following when she straight cussed Brett's smooth the hell out. So that was my first video, and that was kind of how a lot of you all came to find me, because at that time, you all, I don't even think I had like 500 subscribers then. And so many of you found me from that, and here we are now with more than 2,300 subscribers. But I really feel like with this ISIS situation with the trophy wife, child, it's giving me Rose Miller vibes. It's giving me Rose Miller vibes. It really is. And that's not a good thing, but good thing as far as from a content creator. Not a good thing from just just the person and who she is from a moral compass, but a good thing. Lord, somebody got music on. They gonna jack my live up. It's a good thing pertaining to as far as when it comes to like content. When it comes to content, it'll be a good thing because it's so many moving parts to that. And everyone is talking about it. Like, I know you all cannot turn on your YouTube and not see somebody having a live going on about ISIS. Her name is Isis. The trophy wife, you may know her as that, but her name is Isis. That's what she says her name is Isis. But child, niece then came out and said, her name ain't Isis. Her name Paloma. What the hell? Where Isis come from? Her name Paloma. Y'all know how the family is shaped. Paloma. You think you trying to be cute and change your name. Y'all know your family ain't gonna let you be great. That ain't what your mama named you. My husband's sister changed her name, y'all. She changed her name. He refused to call her whatever the hell she changed it to. Her husband won't even acknowledge it. He be like, that ain't what mama named you. That ain't what mama named you. So Isis. Her Isis. That's what we gonna call her Isis, because that's what she want people to call her. But she's known as a trophy wife. But child, Isis got a lot going on. She got a lot going on. And I think last night I was like, how old is this woman? But I think I heard someone reference she was like 29 years old. So she got the same age as a Rose. I don't know what's going on with the 29-year-olds these days. They just different. Is it in the water? Is it in the water? Is it in the water? Anybody in here 29 and doing the absolute most, please step to the front of the congregation and explain. Because we out here just confused. Because many of us at 29, our lives weren't looking like this. We went out here with all these children doing the absolute most on the internet, lying, busting it open. Like, we weren't doing this. It's just so different where, as, hey, Judge Fifi, have y'all noticed, like, really the stark difference of the generations? Like, the mindsets and just what you think about, like, how things were in your generation, how people was moving, what people were doing. They thought process, just even the mindset when it came to dating. It's very different today, I noticed, just with people who are like, say, in their 20s. I don't even know what group you call them. But I noticed that those that are in their 20s, they move real different than those of us who are today in our 40s. Because, y'all, we stay in our 40s plus having our head cocked at these new ones that's coming up. But it's like the ones in their 20s, it's like their mindset is just, it's a struggle to follow it. It is a struggle to follow it. And I think that a lot of it has to do with just the internet. Folks just trying to do something for the gram. It's just they trying to flex. And I think, as far as with Isis, she was so busy with trying to, some people think she was trying to become the new Shira 7. Because y'all know, I've talked about Shira 7 before on this channel. And some feel like that's what she was trying to morph into. Like, she started out as like a student. And y'all know how sometimes the students think they ready to become the teacher. And they want to take your throne. And people feel like that's kind of what she was given, where she was trying to do that. But in the midst of that, was she missing, overlooking things that was taking place in her home, right underneath her nose, because she's so busy being on the camera? Who we know like that? Who we know, y'all, like that? Who's so wrapped up in being on the camera to where they ain't even paying attention to what's going on around them. The babies, they just all caught up in the camera, and you missing Ish. How Ish going down in your house with your babies when you don't even work outside of the home? You at home with the babies. How, Sway? How? Like, really, y'all really think about that. It's one thing you a working parent and you ain't around your child like that because you at work. You trying to make a living. So you ain't seeing everything. It's impossible to see everything. But when you are at home mama and something's happening to your child at home, Houston, we have a problem. That doesn't even make sense from a logical standpoint. Y'all really think about that. How does that make sense when you at home 24/7? Your job as a content creator, you're doing that at home. How is Ish popping off on that type of level with your child in the home and you in the home? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You were in the home around the kids more than the man was, because she's alleging the man did it, but you was around them more than him. He at work making a living. So to me, it sounds more plausible that it was things popping off when he wasn't at home. When he wasn't at home, but you know, the narrative that she's putting out there, he did it. Niece said, you a lie. You a lie. My uncle didn't do that. You know your son did that. You know your son got issues and you don't want to deal with it, which is why my uncle filed for divorce. My uncle filed for divorce because you didn't want to deal with Ish that was already a thing, probably likely before you even met my uncle, because you wanting to protect your son. It ain't nothing wrong with protecting your son, but here's the thing: when you try to protect one child, you can't overlook and neglect the other children who are being abused by that one child for the sake of trying to save that one child. You have to try to get help for that one child while that one child is away from the other children. It's nothing dealing with neglect. It's saying, hey, we got a problem. We got to deal with it. So we're going to have to move some things around. Son, we're going to have you over here so we can try to get you help over here and get you healed and get you all the way together before we bring you over here with the other ones. Y'all see what I'm saying? There ain't no neglect. It's you shifting things around. That's what we do as parents. You multitask. You shift things around. You say, okay, well, we was doing this today this way, but we got to switch gears. We got to do things this way today because now some things have changed. That's part of parenting, right? You ain't always doing things the same way. You got to move. You got to shift. You got to be flexible because nothing's the same. Nothing's the same. Two things can be true at the same time. You can have a child that has issues and that is now a predator, but he's still your child. So this the two things that's true. This my baby, and my baby got issues. We ain't denied nothing. We're just acknowledging both. And that's what you got to do. And so many people don't want to acknowledge Ish because they don't want the responsibility of having to stop and deal with it. And a lot of times people don't want to stop and deal with their Ish because in their mind, to acknowledge something is to admit to being, to admit to something not being right. And sometimes people don't want to admit to something being right because they're taking it so personal and just making it about them. No, it ain't always about you. It's you acknowledging a thing is a thing. Just because you don't acknowledge something as a thing don't mean it ain't a thing. That ain't how this work. You can be in Delulu all you want to, but it don't mean a thing ain't a thing. A thing is still a thing. No matter what relationship Isis get into, the thing with her son being sick and needing help is going to be a thing. What are you going to do? Spend your life running? What are you telling the other children in the midst of being abused? What were you being told, Isis, when you were being abused? She said she was abused, y'all. I do not believe that. Majority of women and a lot of men in their time, in their life, have been abused. So when she said she was conceived from her mother being ARD, and she was abused by the neighbor, that's very believable. How many of you all, or some of you know people, either likely it's probably you, have been abused, SA'd at some point in your life. And if it wasn't you, you know somebody very close to you who it has happened to you. The stats shows that. What is it, like 1 in 3 people? Y'all, the stats are crazy with the number of people who have been abused, SA'd. So that's why every time I'm on the internet, even with people who have been reviewing the content, they'll say, well, it happened to me too. I'm like, damn. Let's talk about who it hasn't happened to. Who hasn't it happened to? Because it seems like it's happened to everybody. It's just like, and it's like it's a new norm. So here's the thing. This is what I talked about on my live last night. If y'all didn't check it out, y'all better go listen, because y'all know how I go. With the way that she's handling this situation, which to me is nonchalant, meaning her knowing that we're going down the path of it, the son. It's giving, well, that's how this situation was dealt with when it was her. How many of you dealt with things and an adult or your caretaker knew, but they were like, you gonna be all right, we gonna be all right, we gonna get through this, and what that means is you just go on. Act like nothing ever happened. That's the resolution. You just keep going. You don't report nobody. Nobody go to jail, get prosecuted, because guess what? They're like, well, it happened to me too. How many of y'all told somebody what happened to you, and the response was, well, I mean, it happened to me too, so it is what it is. You see how people now are becoming numb to this, because unfortunately, at least when I say cultural, the black culture, I'm black, so that's all I kind of can speak on. That's what I'm aware of. It's become a cultural norm to where people become desensitized from it, to where when they hear it happened to somebody, or an adult hear that it happened to maybe their child, it's just like, okay, well, you'll be fine. It's okay. You'll get through it. Here, go lay down. Here, go take a bath. Let's just go to the amusement park. Let me go buy you something. You see what I'm saying? You pacify it. What do y'all, what is it that Isis could be doing with her baby to pacify after seeing or knowing that something inappropriate is happening with her child, but she's continuing to turn on the camera and go live and talk about how you can be a trophy wife? Y'all, this as Denise, I'm just saying, Denise spoke some things, and to me, Denise and what she's saying makes more sense from a logical standpoint than what I've heard Isis say. Isis have yet to drop the man's name. Isis have yet to talk about whether or not the sons, her boys, that she brought into the marriage, if they were good, if anything happened to them. She completely left that part out. Why? You know that if you're bringing the situation to the internet, you know naturally people are going to want to know, well, what about the other kids? What happened with them? Did you clear that they're good? How do you not speak on all the children, but you only address out of 5? You only address the status with 2 of them. To me, it sounds like it was very strategic, that she strategically chose to not insert the boys into the conversation like that, because it would prompt people to want to have questions centered around, okay, well, are the boys good? How old are they? And then when people start hearing the ages of the boys, people then may start wondering, okay, well, were the boys involved in it? Well, is it a chance that the boys could have, done something? So I think it was strategic for her to leave them out of the conversation. Like when she did her video, she's removed all of her content as of last night, except for that one video. Why is that? That one video at last night had 2.3 million views. Guess what, you all? That equates to money. Why you need a GoFundMe account out there when you got one video for 14 minutes where you literally sat there and drug out. You really wasn't saying much of anything for 14 minutes. And you got 2.3 million, which is $10,000, $15,000, y'all, from just that one video that she should make off of that. Why we need a GoFundMe? Why do we need a GoFundMe? I was confused by that when I saw that she had the GoFundMe out. I'm not gonna lie, like, and this is before the niece came out. I'm like, because I know she's a content creator, and I was able to, at the time her videos were up, and I was able to see what her numbers look like. So I'm like, she pulling in a little something with the numbers looking like this. So it didn't make sense to me. As a content creator, I naturally start thinking AdSense. This is just what we do, because when you're monetized, when we put videos out here, we are paid by clicks and views. So that's natural for me to automatically start thinking about money and the monies that can be made from a video based off of the clicks and the views. That's why you all, if you see certain people doing content on certain things all the time, so let me tell y'all, for those who aren't content creators and don't understand how this works. As a content creator, it's trial and error as you're putting content out. When you put content out, we're able to look at the analytics and see like how well the video responded, meaning how long did you all stay on the video. You all, when people go live, like people constantly, I can easily have a video and maybe 2,000 people at any given time came through and clicked on the live. In my analytics, I can see how long people stayed to view the content on average. This is how, the money and things, how you're getting paid. So if I see that, when I talk about bears, I get a lot of people that come through that be like, damn, they be interested in hearing me talk about bears. So you keep doing it. That is what content creators do. The good ones, you see a topic and it was a hit and people like it and they keep hitting, they keep talking about the same thing. That's why you'll see content creators, even like when I came on in July to talk about Rose, and I started getting a lot of following. I talked about her more. I continued to do my fitness videos, but I continued to talk about her as well, because it was bringing people in. So that all equates to money when you're monetized. You're paying attention to that. So when I seen her put that video up and then I seen all her other videos, I'm like, she's making money. Why does woman need a GoFundMe? Didn't make sense. She likely got more money coming in each month than the people who are donating to the GoFundMe. She had a good amount of views. She had already like 61,000 subscribers on that day. She's up to about 65,000. She's gained subscribers since she put out the video. So what are we doing? What's really going on? What was really the point? So I'm adding all of that context because when the niece talks about from her perspective of what's going on, it makes more sense. What I'm seeing coming from ISIS makes more sense. It makes more sense. So that's why I like to hear all the sides that I can, do my research, try piecing things together, and then form my opinion and say, okay, y'all, this is what I got. And that's what I did last night on the story. And there's so many people who are thinking like myself with questioning this, like this ain't make. Some people from the beginning, when they first watched the video, was on that tip. I didn't. I was like, oh my, like I was listening. She had me going. She had me going all the way up until right before I did my live yesterday. I was going to take a completely different approach with my live until I found the niece's TikToks and I started listening to what she had to say. And I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This changes the game. Like you all, I had to kind of revamp the entire way I was going to do the show. Like, I had to, because my whole thought process, like, everything changed. It changed because before it was like, oh my, he's the worst man ever. How could this happen? How could she be so irresponsible with moving so fast with this stranger? All of that is still true. She still shouldn't have moved fast. But going off of what the niece is saying, she said her uncle didn't do it. That woman's son did it. He's a problem child, and it's known in the family that he's a problem child. You all on the internet don't know he's a problem child, but we know he a problem child. We know. The family know. Y'all just don't know. So it made it more believable for her to come out and say, oh, somebody else did something, because she didn't talk about the things that was going on with her son. Seemed like her channel really wasn't like, it's not a family channel. It's just her trying to teach women how to elevate, motivate for them to try to live the trophy wife. Not a family channel where she's bringing in her babies. But auntie's like, no, like, nephew got issues. Nephew got issues. He is the reason she don't want to deal with his issues. I understand, that's her son, because she's saying, niece said, I got a son too. I understand wanting to protect your child, but you can't try to want to protect your child to the point to where you're willing to sacrifice the quality of life for the other children in the house. And that's what the niece said that Isis was doing. And when the husband was like, listen, what we gonna do? We got to do something. This ain't working. He can't keep doing this. Now I got kids in the house. I met you. You had 2 kids, but hell, now we didn't have 3 kids together. I'm worrying about protecting my kids. We got to do something. So from what niece is saying, that's where things kind of went off the rails, and the whole divorce came in, and he filed for divorce, not her. He filed. So here's my thing. If he was the one that was the violator doing the absolute most, how he beat you to the courthouse to file? How? Why you hadn't already filed? How the predator the one beating you? Y'all, this be the same with how I be looking at people crazy when people be in relationships. The person who doing the absolute most, a lot of times it'll be the man. He doing the absolute most. You know he doing the absolute most. You dealing with it. But guess who finally said, I don't want to be here no more? The man who was doing the absolute most. Y'all, that always be taking me out. Like, how, Sway? How he leave you? How he beat you to the punch? How he beat you to them people, to the courthouse? You should have been walked. You should have been left. This is what this is given. How did this man file for divorce against you when you saying he was the one doing the absolute most? He was the monster. He was the predator. What took you so long to go and run and file them papers when you learned or said that he did whatever? Why you didn't go handle your business like the next business day? Why you, I'm not understanding this. Because you could have been handling your business while he was locked up. Because if he did it, guess what? He would have immediately been arrested. She knew exactly from her story where he was. He was at the house. She told him, I'm leaving to go take the babies to get Halloween costume shop. So he was at the house. He had just got home from work. He had no reason to be trying to think something was wrong or to be running and fleeing somewhere. So the popos would have knew exactly where he was to roll up on him while he at home in his drawers with his heels kicked up, waiting for his wife and kids to come home and may bring dinner. So that would have been a prime time to go rolling up on him to get him locked up. And guess what? You could have been handling your business, like I said, the next business day to go ahead and get your filing going on. But that ain't how it happened. Niece said, y'all, if y'all look at them divorce papers, my uncle filed on her, and this is the reason why. So what I'm saying, y'all, her story was sad, and you're like, oh my, that's the average feeling. But sometimes people just be lying. And sometimes that, there's people, it's like, wow, I want to believe they ain't lying. They wouldn't do something like this. But people do stuff like this all the time, unfortunately. Men and women. Nobody's exempt from lying. It's a character thing. So when the niece came out and said, "No, y'all, let me tell y'all the real tea," my uncle can't talk because he's still dealing with this and fighting this in court. It makes sense why he not talking. Any good lawyer is going to advise you, hey, don't say nothing, let me handle this. So it makes sense. But niece was like, this ain't stopping me from talking. I'm finna tell y'all. I'm finna tell y'all the truth, because what you're not finna do is be out here playing with my uncle's name because you and your feelings, because he no longer wants to finance your lifestyle. So it's a lot. And that's why it's important to, as I say, smart people ask questions. You do your research, you do your due diligence, you use your common sense, your discernment, all of that. That's the whole formula, the whole formula to just being just a smart person. All of that. Not one, two of those things, but all of those things. And the world is looking at her side eye. I'm curious to know when the next time she gonna be able to go back on live and say what? Ma'am, if you're not coming back on live to show some papers where that man has been formally charged, we ain't got nothing to talk about. Or unless you ain't trying to come back on live to say, okay, y'all. I know I said this, but okay. It ain't happened that way. It really was. If it ain't nothing like that, ma'am, you need to go ahead and stay off the internet. She messed up by bringing it to the internet anyway. It was no reason for her to bring this matter to the internet. If it's that serious, you ain't got time to be playing around with these people on the internet telling them you try to live right in life and take care of your kids. Make sure your kids good. You ain't got time to be going live talking about, hey, trophy. You ain't got time for that. You in survival mode. If what happened, you're in survival mode. You're in survival mode. It ain't about playing around on the internet. It was too soon with her coming back on the internet, too fresh. Now, has she come back on the internet years down the line and say, y'all remember, y'all ain't seen me in a long time. I'm going to talk to y'all about what was going on with me and why y'all didn't see me. And I want to share this so therefore people can learn and understand that, what you may believe that somebody's life is, it ain't always that. She could have come from it from that angle where some time had passed and she can talk about how they were able to navigate through that trauma, how her babies are now doing, the things she did to get them support, what happened with the father, and now this. Y'all see what I'm saying? It would have been a story, a context, and it would be like, wow, it makes sense why she was gone so long. Oh, wow, it makes sense why now she's speaking about it, because she's now have lived life. And she gave herself time to deal with what was going on. And she just was focused on her family. It makes sense. Y'all, if she would have did it that way, I promise you, the smoke she's getting right now wouldn't have been like this. So that's why, to me, it's giving opportunist. She was an opportunist. She seen a way. It's like, ooh, I'm going to get you back. Oh, you think you doing something? You think you doing something? Oh, I got you. And that's what, to me, what it's giving. It's like one of those get backs. I'm going to get you, because y'all know we live in a time where if a woman say that something happened to them at the hands of a man, the man has the burden of proving that it didn't. Y'all know reality is different rules. Remember, I talk about the rules. Everybody don't have the same rule. Everybody aren't held to the same rules. So in society, a woman can say something that a man did and not really have to focus on trying to bring the receipts or the proof, but just saying it. And the man is stuck to have to defend himself and bring his receipts on how that's a lie. But in the reverse, if a man say the woman did something to him, society is like, well, what you got to support that? You see what I'm saying? It's like regardless, the man just got the burden of proving it. Whether it's his innocence, guilt, whatever. He has the burden of proof. That's just society. And I think you have people who take advantage of that. And you'll have women to know that say, well, I know that I'm just going to throw out this allegation because I'm in my feelings or whatever, and it's going to ruin him. Women know that, especially a woman who is somebody who's viewed as being desired, attractive, um, just somebody who, a trophy wife. They know, there's some women who know that they look a certain way to where they can say something and they're going to automatically quickly get people's ear. Not all women have that ability to get somebody's ear like that. But a lot of times when you look a certain way, when you're what they call a preference, when you have from the aesthetics, the beauty, what's deemed to be beautiful, if you're deemed to be beautiful by just society, you can say something and people not really looking for you to back it with a lot of proof. You can just throw it out there. But if you somebody who say you're overweight, you're dark skinned, you're low income, low education, people are looking for you to, more often than not, you're probably be someone that they not going to be so quick to believe like that, but they'll believe you faster than, say, a man saying that, a woman did something to him. So it's levels to it. It's levels to it. And people are aware of these type of things. Just like I can talk to you all and talk about my awareness, people are aware of these things and they take advantage of it. And they will just work the system. They'll work the system. And that's what it gives that she gave. She was like, he don't be on the internet like that. So he know I be on the internet. I got a big following. I told him if he keep messing with me, I'm going to get him back. And he didn't believe me. So I'm about to go on this internet and say whatever. It seems like what she wasn't banking on or counting on is him having family members or that niece to come out and say something. She was looking at it from a space of, well, he's not an internet person. So if I come out here and say some things on the internet, he don't have a channel. Like, he's not going to come out here and tell his side of the story. Kind of like Adonis. They say Adonis isn't an internet person. So we've never really heard from him. You hear people speaking on his behalf. So she's like, I can come out here and play on this internet like Rose. I can play on this internet. Who gonna check me, boo? Because if you know the other people don't have the following like you, you feel like the internet is your personal playing ground. So you can do what you want. Had that woman known that that man had an internet presence too, she wouldn't have done that. She wouldn't have done that. She thought she can get away with it. But she wasn't expecting the niece to come out like that. She was not expecting the niece to come out like that. Then she probably also knew that other family members who maybe did play around with the internet, their following wasn't as big as hers. So what, big bank take little bank, kind of like Rose. Rose knew, okay, her following was bigger than Adonis or Champagne. So she knew that she can throw out whatever she want to throw out there, because it's like, who gonna be listening to your side? You don't have no followers. People think this way. So I feel like Isis did the same thing. She knew, okay, I can come out here and say whatever I want. People on his side of the family ain't really got no following like that. So whatever they say, it ain't gonna get nobody's ear. People gonna believe me before you. People be having that type of arrogance where they'll be like, whatever, people gonna believe me over you. I heard that a lot just with this Diddy stuff, where a lot of the alleged victims were like, he would tell them, well, nobody's gonna believe you. A lot of people who've been victims heard that. Well, if you try to tell somebody, either I'm gonna do something to you or nobody's gonna believe you. This is a thing. And sometimes people who got more clout than the people who they prey on, they'll use that to their advantage. They'll say, well, I got the bigger name. I got more money than you. You're nothing. Like, I'm sure a lot of you, some of y'all may have heard that or experienced that, where somebody got over on you, and this is the mentality that they had. Because of the weight that they hold, they felt like, okay, they already had the advantage to be able to do whatever they want to do. And to me, it gives that's what Isis felt. Isis felt like, well, she had a big following, so she can kind of come out here and say whatever, and people are going to automatically go with it because who she is, what she looks like. She's aware that she's an attractive woman. Like, she said that herself. When I heard her tell the story of remember she met the man, I don't know if you all know, she met the husband on, I think, eHarmony on the dating site. I think she said her cousin recommended her get on the dating site. And her response was, what do you mean? I look too good to be trying to get on a dating site. So this woman is aware of how she looks. You think she's not aware that she can use things like that to her advantage, whether it be good or bad? She know. She know. People be knowing the people be knowing how powerful their influence is. They do. But everybody don't move with the same moral compass. Some people don't care how they lead the people. They'll just lead you in the direction that they want to lead you. That's why we got to be free thinkers and question things and not just go along with somebody just because they have a large following, which is what many of us see the rosebuds do. No, don't just go along with somebody because they got a large following. Do your research. Do your due diligence. Ask questions. If something's not adding up, you question that. And if they got a problem with you questioning it, that should kind of speak volumes there. That the fact that they mad because you asking questions. No, they're upset because you're smarter than what they gave you credit for. They don't want you to be smart. They want you to just shut up and go along and do what I do, watch what I do, mimic me, do what I say, period. Don't be asking no questions. And you got a lot of people who will be like, okay, okay. And they do that for many years until finally somebody bucked the system and be like, no, I'm not doing that no more. And then you end up with like what we see with Diddy, where everything's crashing down. Because what they say, all it takes is one person to stand up and say, no, stop, this is enough is enough, I'm telling, and then follow through and tell. It usually takes one person. And when that one person do it, it motivates and inspires the other people to do it as well. But a lot of times it's a long time before you get to that one person. It's a long time. And while it's taking that time to get to that one person, the person is, the predator is just still doing the absolute most. And that's how it continues to go on and on. And Cassie was that person. They're like, nope. And you all listen, Cassie was a woman and stood up and said, no. Look at how many men that were abused that didn't have the balls, the guts that she had. Cassie did some stuff that men didn't even have it in them to do. They started coming out after her. She's a woman, y'all. She was a woman, and she came up first, a little bitty thing, smaller than me, and I'm small. And she did it first. And then now it's like a domino effect. But everybody was waiting on somebody else to do it. People fearful. Men get scared too. But sometimes a woman will show bigger cojones than a man. How many of y'all seen that before? Where you see women that will stand up before a man will stand up. And you like, how, Sway? Why you over here sitting on the sideline when you got the women over here doing, like, how often have you seen that happening? I know I've seen that happen quite a bit, especially in my community, where you see women more quick to step up and, fight for something than the man. What is that all about? But that's what happened. So there's a lot of, parallels between like just Rose Miller and ISIS as far as with just these women and their mindsets. And this all leads, this is all rooted in trauma that these women endured themselves. They both have in common, I believe they're both 29. Trauma. These women endured trauma. And it was trauma that wasn't dealt with. And they grew up to become young ladies, to become wives, to become moms, while still dealing with that trauma internally. And, I say dealing with loosely because it hasn't been dealt with. Living with that trauma. Let me change that. Not dealing with it, living with it. These are two women who are living with the trauma, not dealing with it. Because when you're dealing with it, you're seeking out supports, the resources to get healing. And when you endure trauma, and a lot of times SA trauma, that's a lifetime. It's a lifetime you spend working on that. You don't get to a point to where, okay, you're is done, or you may feel completely healed. It's when you're going to counseling or you're working with someone, you're learning coping skills, and those skills are in place to help you basically live with your struggle. So the counseling isn't healing. It's teaching you how to live with the trauma. How to live still a healthy life as a functioning person. How to live a healthy life as a person who's not out here hurting others as someone has hurt you. Because what they say, hurt people. That is a real thing. Hurt people. So when you're going to counseling, these professionals are trained to teach you certain skills that you can implement into your lives that can help you navigate through that when you start having those really tough times. Because sometimes some days are better than others. Because when you've dealt with abuse and trauma, you live with it every day. But y'all know some days are better than others. You got some days where it's just tough. Or you have sometimes things can happen that can be triggering for you. And you feel like you got a setback where you felt like you was good. And then now you feel like, wow, I'm really not good. So the coping skills help you navigate through that when these moments come up where you feeling like, oh my God, today is not the best day. And you fall back, you lean on into those coping skills you learned, those things that you were taught to do when you start feeling like the going is getting tough. When I worked in the counseling world, that is what I would do with people. I would just teach them about the coping skills they can use when those tough moments arise. So therefore, they can, by using those coping skills, it'll have you to change how you may react to someone or something. And by changing how you react, it can change your response, the response that you get from people. Because a lot of times the responses we get from people is based off of how we reacted to something. Basically, the response they got from us. So that's why it's an energy thing. So with the coping skills, it's teaching you more effective ways to be able to get what you want, to get the type of maybe response that you want from someone. And a lot of times we don't get the response we may want from someone because of our delivery. It's the delivery where people aren't receiving you very well because of your disposition and how you're coming off. So people are automatically checked out. So they ain't trying to hear nothing you trying to say. Even if you want, they checked out because it's your delivery for them. It's your delivery. So with the coping skills, some people may need help with that, with how to communicate effectively, how to deliver their message, how to communicate their wants and needs, how to communicate it in a way to where you don't lose the person on the other end as you're communicating to them, because you can lose them based off of how you're approaching them. So the coping skills will teach you, okay, well, this is maybe how you may want to go about it. Maybe don't lead with so much emotion. Maybe you can't have an actual conversation with the person. Maybe you got to say, you know what, let me get back to you. And you got to write out your feelings and thoughts. Some people maybe got to do that. Everybody can't have a conversation just yet with somebody. Some people got to just write it out. Be like, you know what, I can't. Okay, let me just write it out. I'll send you a text. I got to get this out. I'm feeling like we're not hearing one another as we're going back and forth talking on the phone or in person. Let me just kind of write it out. Let's just do that. Let me just write it out so I can get it out and I don't feel like I'm being interrupted or being combative. I just need to get it out. I need to get it out. So writing is a great way to get out, your thoughts and your feelings, your emotions, all of that. A lot of artists, they say, writing through music, that's their therapy. They let it out in their words and their lyrics. That's why a lot of people like music. I love music. So you got to just figure out how can you get it out in the most healthy way to where you can get your message across. Those coping skills. So these are type of things that you learn when you're in a counseling environment. And I really believe most people who have endured trauma have never talked with a counselor. Yeah, they just haven't, for many reasons. For many reasons. And it is most time, it is a fee, a cost. So you got a lot of people where it wasn't no money for a counseling, no money or benefits for anything like that. So that's one reason. But then for a lot of people, it's just the fact of it's just looked at as just being taboo, a sign of weakness. Or they're in denial about needing a counselor or a counselor being beneficial. So my thing is, we can come up with all the reasons in the world why not to do something. I challenge you to come up with the reasons in the world to do it. That's where the work comes in. Finding that reason to do it and doing it. That's how you get results. That's how you get results. That's how you get on track to win in life. You do the work. You don't allow your fears to succumb, like your desire to be higher than your desire to want more, to want better. There's many things, that we can think about that we fear, but is that fear greater than our desire to have more, or to have something else, to get a different result? Many people fear the unknown, which is why they continue to do what they know isn't working, because it's like, well, I already know I'm comfortable in this space that I'm in, even though it's really not working, but at least I know with him or her, I know what I'm going to get. I know this, I know that. If I go outside and try to do something else, I don't know what I'm going to get. So I might as well just stay over here. Like, you have people who have that mindset. They'll have that mindset when it comes to relationships, when it comes to jobs, all kinds of stuff. And those are people who stay stagnant and who don't elevate or evolve because it's based on fear. I think most people are out here moving out of fear. They're not doing anything because they're fearful. And the fear is from the unknown. The fear is from the judgment. It's just rooted in fear. And so I understand, I get it. And the best that I do is try to just talk you through that and encourage you to find all the reasons why you should do something. And encourage you to think about those things you want to do. And if you're willing to let your fear hold you back from achieving those very things. Most people who have achieved greatness, you don't think they was fearful as they entered them? Y'all, just starting up YouTube years ago in 2020. Was it 2020 when I did my first YouTube video? That was fearful. To know, okay, I want to turn, mind you, like, especially if you knew my personality. Y'all see my personality now, and y'all see, you probably can't imagine me not doing this. But y'all, there was a time in my life where the idea of getting on camera and talking to people like this was just like, it was very scary. Because it's like, I don't do that. I'm not an internet person. Like, I don't do that. I'll talk to people in person, but for the world to see me and to just talk and just be me, I don't do that. Y'all was a kid that was like afraid of their own shadow. Like, y'all was a different kind of kid. How y'all see me now? This is not what the little kid version of me was. This is the adult version of me is as a woman, as a person who sees that you don't get results by living in fear. This is who y'all see. You all see a person who understands that sometimes you just got to jump off the porch. This is who y'all see. This is someone who has to reflect on the things I have accomplished. And then say, well, if you were able to do that, you was able to get 4 degrees and marry and with 3 babies, you was able to do all of that. Be married, 3 babies, 3 degrees by age 30. Why you can't do YouTube? Like, y'all, this is what I had to do to myself. I had to remind myself that I can do whatever it is that I want. And it started with me thinking about the things I've done, the things that I've accomplished. So one day I turned my phone on and I started talking to my phone. I started talking to the camera. It was a It was a pre-record because back then on YouTube, you couldn't go live from your phone unless you had X amount of subscribers. I think it was like 1,000 or something like that. I didn't have no subscribers. Remember, it was like my first video. So it was a pre-record. And I turned it on and I just started talking. I just started talking. That's what I did. Fearful, scary. I've had people since then who would talk to me about it. Like right after I did the first one, and at the time I was working, at this company and shared it with all them. They came to work and they talked about seeing my video. They talked about how I did it and how they want to do it and how they're, trying to get the right equipment and do it. And I told them, I said, if you keep waiting for the day where you just feel like you got everything, you'll never do anything. Sometimes you just got to do it. You just got to work with what you got. And I just turned my phone on. I didn't have no lighting, no microphone. I just turned my phone on and just started talking. I didn't get into my head thinking about all the logistics and the things that got to line up in order for me to do it. I didn't do that because a lot of times when you start thinking like that, you wind up not doing it because you talk yourself out of it because you feel like you're not prepared, because you don't have all the resources. And the more you think about it, the more you're going to move away from it. And there are people, that's exactly that's happened. And I told them about whatever I did. That was 4 years ago. And they have yet to still do anything because guess what? They still in their head thinking about trying to execute it in the most perfect way. Sometimes it's just about just doing it, just jumping off the porch, just doing it. And that's what I did. That's what I did. And that's just life. And that's just how I've approached life. That's how I approach life. So I want to get that out there to share that thoughts. I'll get through comments and see what you all have to say about what I had to say. But I needed to get that out. It was on my heart to get that message out. Hello, Hamdi. Hello, Godspeed. Hamdi, you saying, I think it comes down to having too much pride when you think everybody is below you. God will truly humble you, and I am no way talking about her kids. Yeah, Brad. Hello, Brad. You said she is not a trophy. Let's be real. She is a red flag. Hammy said this whole situation reminds us to be leaders, not followers. Ariane says this year is really exposing all the crazy life of YouTube. Streets broke, people living life. Yeah. Hammy said the status quo isn't right. Yep. People do it all the time. Hamdi said 2024 is the year to humble people. It's definitely a year to remember. Trey Williams says you're extremely gorgeous. Thank you, Trey. Say still waiting on your person. Brat Baby says it really is. Cat Williams said it would be the year of exposure. Yes. Did you all see that Cat is working on opening up in Alabama a production studio for film? So I saw that, I think yesterday. I saw that yesterday. Trey said, I think men are more embarrassed because they were abused homosexually. Yeah, I can see that. Handy says, and we are sad sometimes too. Liars will be deemed as a truthful, and truthful will be deemed as a liars. It's truly the end of times. Yeah. Janelle says, hello, Janelle. Trey said, oh, do she read comments? Yeah, I read comments. Sometimes it's harder since I'm walking with this view, because when I'm in StreamYard, it's a different view where I can kind of do my recording and see the comments easier. On my phone, it's different as the comments come in. So it's not as easier to read. So I got to be more focused with reading the comments. So that's why I said what I said, and I'm reading the comments now. Brad says, yes, especially in the Black community, there's a huge stigma. Hamdi says when she's situated, she always responds. Yes, I do Marcus responded. God Spit said, I also realize a lot of young people online are very gullible. They believe everyone online. They believe all the false hope, dreams, not reality. I don't blame them. At one point in life, I was naive too. Yeah, it's about growth. You grow. That's life. It's just what the problem. It's the problem when we stay stagnant and we don't elevate. We don't grow. Trey says, oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. It would be hard to read comments walking. Yeah, that's why I don't do a lot of walking talks. I do them sometimes, but most of the time I don't do them because it's a challenge with reading them. But I'm trying to get through them now, but it's just more of a challenge with the view on my phone. Yeah. So Hamdi says, God's Spit, yes, they never had actual mentors. The online is all they know. That's why you got to have a balance. You got to get outside, be out in the real world, because you got some people to where they've just made their whole life just being about just being on the internet. And you can tell it's like they're so disconnected from just the reality. They think that what's on the internet is just the real world, and that's not the case. Keep in mind, you all, the internet is like a playground. So especially think about just YouTube, and you'll have women talking about men talking about women. But though many of you may feel like myself, when you go out and about in the community, you're not having men respond to you in a way that you hear them responding or talking about women online. And men may feel like when they're out and about and when they're interacting with women, they're not feeling that. So that's why you have to get out and experience life yourself and not just go off of what somebody who's sitting at home in their underwear in front of their computer or laptop is saying, because it's not reality. Men and women outside aren't just hating on each other like that. That is not my reality. That's not what I see. That is not what I see. So, but remember, like the internet, YouTube, like it's a job for people. Some people, this is like legit all they do. So you got to factor that in when you hear them talking. And remember, I talked to y'all about content and how you make money. You see what people like to hear you talk about, and you keep talking about it. Like y'all seen with that guy, the No Fugazi podcaster, it came out like, what his personal life looked like, which was to the contrary of his talking points on his podcast. He say, oh, no to single moms. They're trash. They're only worth this, and that. But though that's what he's gotten at, that's what he got at home. His woman of like 7 years was a single mom, and now they got he had a child enter in the relationship, and now they just had a baby, maybe last year or something. They got a baby together. So they're a blended family. It's 4 children, blended family. But he the same man talking about women ain't this, if they got kids already. But he said his woman is now, and this is baby mama, he ain't married her. He said, oh, well, she's the exception to the rule. I'm the exception to the rule. Oh, really? Oh, really? Because people know that you live in a lie and you ain't living in your truth. Now you the exception to the rule? Okay. So y'all got to be careful. Y'all got to be careful who y'all listen to. And when you learn who somebody really is about, believe them and move on. Just move on. Hamdi said, I said, if we don't, somebody will do the job for us. I'm so proud of you for that. Brad says, this is why a 2-parent household with 1 parent at home is so important. The government has made it impossible for that to happen anymore. They want to take 2 incomes and raise your kids for you. Wow. That's why I was like, I don't understand, as far as with the trophy wife, she was at home. So how are you at home full time and you got this type of this happening like literally under your nose? That goes to show when we talk about like being disconnected. It's like she was physically present, but she wasn't present present as a parent. And it be like that sometimes. And unfortunately, in her situation, it happened and her children weren't good. Some things happened when she wasn't fully present. And it's a sad situation. And I can only hope and pray that she gets better. The mama gets the help she needs. So therefore she can get the baby the help she needs, or the children, all the children, not just the one, but all the children, the help they need. But mama needs some healing self. Hamdi says, thank you, Chic, for always spitting knowledge. Thank you so much. Thank you. Brat Baby says, yes, thank you, Chic, for using your platform to speak on the things so many are scared to touch on. Yeah, I'm not afraid to touch on anything. I feel like the more that I am on the internet as a content creator, because I've been on the internet for a long time, it's just as a subscriber like many of you. But being on here as a content creator, I feel like I've developed more awareness of things and the foolishness that's going on. And, I hear about and I see the things that people talk about. I think about the substance behind it, if there's any substance behind it. So I just feel like if I have a platform and I have an ability to talk about what it is that I want to talk about, I want to talk about some things that's going to make a difference for the overall quality of people's lives. Why not? Like, what are we doing? As I said, because I had took a break from YouTube last year. When I came back in June, I probably hadn't done a video since maybe that previous summer. So I took a break, and I was contemplating if I wanted to come back or not, but it was just based on whether or not I would have something worthwhile. Have something worthwhile to talk about, because I didn't want to come back. I don't know. I just felt like if I come back, I got to come back with it. I got to bring some substance. And so, this is where I am. And for me, this is substance, because I'm talking about some real things that, a lot of people don't talk about. They're afraid maybe to talk about. Tussle Cat says, only two things of fear is fear itself. Yeah. The problem with our people in the crime rate and the kids. So Trentine said, the problem with our people in the crime rate and the kids growing without a father who even not paying child support. Yeah, there's so many children in fatherless homes. It makes a difference to the experience that a child will have when they have a mother and a father around, because I truly believe that one is no more important than the other. That's why it's required for both to conceive a child. They both bring different things to a child, things that we need to have us to be well-rounded people. And so I'm one who advocates for two-parent homes, marriage and things like that, but I'm not a by any means necessary person either, meaning that if there is any type of abuse taking place, I don't advocate for those two parents to still stay together. I feel like it is better to co-parent than, with both adults being in two separate environments that can be healthy, than to have two adults in one home and one environment and it's dysfunctional, it's toxic, and the children are seeing that, being exposed to that. And a lot of times kids will grow up who lived in that type of environment saying, I've heard many say they wish their parents had just separated and split because of the impact that it had on them, and how the parents may have thought that they didn't know what was going on, didn't see what was going on, didn't feel the impact that was going on. They're like, yes, we did. We wish, listen, don't be staying together for us. We wish y'all wouldn't have been trying to stay together for us, because we was low-key having conversations wishing y'all would have just threw in the towel 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. So don't make it about us. And I think a lot of times people may try to make it about the kids with staying together, but it's really rooted in fear. And it's not really about the kids. It's about the fear, again, as I talk about, of stepping out, doing something different, no longer being with that person. Men can get used to being with a woman too and fear no longer that woman being around. It go both ways. Just like a woman can fear that man not being around, that man can fear that woman not being around too. And, so they choose to still continue to stay in that relationship. So a lot of people out here moving in fear. What are you afraid of? I mean, we all really stopped and think about it. Most of us probably can think of something that, we're still like fearful of. You got some who are like, they finally got to a point to where there's nothing they're fearful of. But I know just with me, just being a content creator, and as I switch gears and think about changes of things I want to talk about, how I want to move. Sometimes there's fear in there as well with, okay, will people be for this change? Will they like this change? Will they support this change? Because y'all know people get set in their ways and they like what they like. And a lot of times people don't be here for change. It's like, no, I don't like it that way. I want it this. You got people that are like that. And so as a content creator, you're factoring all that in. So you're trying to find a balance of doing what it is you want to do while also taking into account what your followers are wanting to see from you. So it's a balancing act. And y'all, that is not easy. That is not easy. Y'all just probably don't even know how many people, how many content creators are out here moving in a way, putting out content that they really don't like, but it's what you all respond to. They're like, oh, I don't really like doing this. I'm tired of talking about this. But this is what people respond to. When I really hone in on what I like or what I want to do, people don't respond to that. And if you're monetized and people aren't responding to it, guess what? You're not making money. So you got people out here moving in a way that it's just not really what they want to do. But they're like, I got to make money, so I got to do what I got to do. So I'm going to put this content out. So that's why I say you all have to keep that in mind as you're listening to content creators and they're talking about certain things and giving their opinion. Factor that in. Think about, do this person really even believe this? Are they really about that life? Because there's a lot of people that are out here and it's just about the money. It's just about the money. Hey, Yvonne McGowan, thank you. Great message. Thank you. Ariane says, it's the money. They will do anything for it. Yeah. What they say, money is the root of all evil. God's Spirit said true. The internet is not real. A lot of people think the internet is everything. How you know? Because I seen it on the internet. That's gospel for them. That's the new encyclopedia. That is the new encyclopedia. My daughter's like, I don't want to go to school. How you going to learn? The internet? The internet is everything. And, but when you know what the internet is really about when it comes to just media, content creation, people can control the narrative. They put out there what they want you to consume. So when you're listening to people out on the internet and whatever in their messaging, you have to ask yourself, or you got to pay attention to whether or not their message is lining up with their walk. Because there are some people to where we'll find out things about their personal life. Like I used the example of No Fugazi. We talked about ISIS. We talk about Rose Miller of Queen of Kings. There are some people, you all, where we come to learn more about their personal life, whether it was directly, indirectly. But guess what? We come to learn that what they talk doesn't line up with how they walk. They not walking it like they talk it, And when you see that, you cannot be in denial about that. You can't be in denial about that. You have to be like, wow, man, they really had me going. It happens to the best of us, but I know now, and you move accordingly. You don't continue to stay following the foolishness because, well, I like them, or I've been following them for a long time. And they've been lying to you for a long time. So what? The thing about it is, when you come to know the truth about something, you got to be responsible and react and move accordingly. You don't stay in that. That's why you're not held to having a certain thought or opinion of a person or a thing. Your thoughts can evolve like we as people evolve. So sometimes we may switch gears, and I may say, I had this belief. I know I said this to you all yesterday, but hear me out today. I'm coming to y'all with something else. I know what I said yesterday, but y'all, let me tell y'all what I just learned. Let me tell y'all what I just learned, what I just found out, child. Now, I ain't even feeling that way no more. This is how I'm feeling because I just got some new information. You can't look at me sideways, really, truly, because I did that. I'm letting you know some new information has come to light. So now I have to switch tunes. I have to switch gears. That is somebody who's smart, who's who's taking into an account the data, who's choosing to not ignore it because it doesn't align with my own personal beliefs or my spiritual, whatever it is. And you got people out here who are doing just that. They're still choosing to go a certain way because it makes them feel warm and fuzzy, even though it's not the truth. They just in denial, child. So many people out here living in denial. Aaron said too much time online like the other one. God's spirit says she focusing on other things. She there physically, not spiritually and emotionally. Yeah, and that's the case with like a lot of people. They're physically present, but that's it. I know I've had times in my life, you know, younger and being a parent and young to where when I think back, I was physically present, but that was it. But I came to realize that sooner than later. And I came to realize it before something happened that had to wake me up. You know, I kind of came to it, you know, between, you know, just me and just, you know, prayer through prayer. It wasn't that like something with my children, traumatic happened. So that was fortunate for me, but that's not the case for a lot of people. Just like with Isis, that wasn't the case for her. So what they say, when you know better, you got to do better. You hold that responsibility to do better when you know better. Yvette says, so true, stable two-parent home is key. Yeah, you know, but it makes a difference on the quality of the home. So it's bigger than just being two parents home. Each person in the home, each adult have to understand the assignment and to know that our children are far better with us together than if we were apart. So that's why we got to work on this thing to make sure that we good to one another. We good for our family. It's you united, you work together because you know that as a whole, we're better together than we are apart. And it's just you both understanding the assignment, and you both are playing, you know, in this you're working together, not working against one another. So that's the thing. You can't have one person in it to win it and then the other person checked out. You see, it doesn't work that way. But both people physically there. The kids know that. I've seen that. The kids know. And I see the impacts of them. I see it. And like I said, because I'm trained for mental health, like as far as with signs and things, I take notice when there's impacts to people, in particular children, when there's dysfunction taking place. I see the different ways that the children are impacted. I take notice of it quickly. Some people don't see it as quickly as I do, but because I'm trained, I see it differently than maybe your average person. So on this platform, you know, I talk about those things and talk about the things that I see. So therefore, to bring awareness. So when you all see it, you'll be like, okay, this is not good. This is a sign of this, that. So that's why I like to, talk about the mental health. So you all know some things to look for, to know when somebody's just not in a good space. Hamdi said, and this is crucial in colored families' homes. Yeah. Godspit says the internet can be a blessing and a curse. Yes, it can be so much. It's how you use it. And I used to tell my mom, because she was like, oh, I don't like social media. She was fearful of it. And I'd be like, it's how you use it. Anything could be good or bad. It's how you use it. Where they say too much of anything can be bad for you. You all know drinking too much water can be bad for you. There is a thing with consuming too much water. So too much of anything can be bad. So it's how you use it. You have to be responsible. You have to have self-awareness. When I use the internet, I take that into an account. I have 2 platforms. So I'm like, okay, I'm moving responsibly. So since I have the ear of people, let me speak positivity into these people. Let me tell them some things that's going to make a difference for them lives versus talking crazy and talking nonsense. Because you got a lot of people that just because they got people ear, they talk reckless. They talk crazy, but they know they got people ear. So you got to be responsible. Godspit say you use it, don't let it. Said people lie for a long time. They do. That's why you got to watch how, hold on, y'all, my screen froze. Let's see if I'll unfreeze. Let's see if I come back. Hopefully I come back and I don't have to end the live because it's locked up right now. It's frozen. might have to. Come on. All right. Not sure if y'all can still hear me. My live just froze. Can you hear me? Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. I may have to end this live. It was a good live. I may have to end it. My phone's about to die anyway, but my screen is locked. Let me see. I can hear you. You can hear me. Okay. Well, it's good you can hear me because on my end, my screen is locked. My screen is locked. So, yeah. Y'all just be mindful. Be responsible when it comes to this internet. Let me get through some more of these comments. Brat's baby said, the young single mom to trade wife pipeline is crazy. This woman never grow emotionally, don't really care about their kids, and are just trying to hold on to a man. Yeah, I mean, people's priorities are out of whack. A lot of people's priorities are out of whack. People are focused on the wrong things. Godspeed says, right, both parents should be involved. Handy says, we also forget that our sons will seek women like their mothers and girls will seek men like their dads. We have so much impact. That is very true, Handy. And then so here's the thing to that. If you're a girl that didn't even have a dad, then you don't really even know what to look for. You're just going off of what you think a man is. So there's that part too. You know, I grew up, there was part of my life where there was a father figure. And then probably after 14, there really wasn't like that. So, I kind of was winging it. I felt like when it came to like with the dating and, what a good guy was and things like that. Because unlike, my daughter where she has, my husband, her father, to see consistently as an example of just what a man should be, what he should give, what he should do, how he should move. I didn't have that. So I feel like she's definitely going to be set up better in life as she go out into the world than me when it comes to just men and dating, because she had good example. She had the examples that I didn't have. So that's a blessing for her. Godspeed said too much of a good thing is bad. Very true. Too much of a good thing is bad. So it's just balance. I talk a lot on my channel about balance, having balance, being balanced. And you have to figure out what that looks like for you because it looks different for us all. So balance. Balance starts with just, being in a good place for, your mental health. While also, being able to help and be a support for others. So it's a combination of both. So you got to just figure out what works for you. But this was a great live. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. It seemed like my live still stayed frozen. But at least you all were still able to hear me. So it was a good live. Definitely like, share, subscribe. Follow me over on my second channel, ChicSpeaks on it. I will be going live soon. Probably maybe sometime today or tomorrow to talk, just deep dive into with Queen of Kings. I haven't done that in a little bit. So there are some things that I want to talk about just from, I saw some of Fifi's lives this week. So I got a little something as far as some information just from things that she's put out there. But I have my thoughts. And I want to share them with you all. So y'all make sure you follow me on my second channel, ChicSpeaks on it. Make sure you have your notification bells hit on both channels so you all know when I go live. Some people don't get the notifications. What I've learned is you have to just go in and just do a reset of your notification bell. So just go in and hit that bell again for, me or any of your other favorite content creators if you're not getting the notifications. And YouTube says that should kind of get you together with, getting the notifications again. So you all take care of yourselves and one another. And yeah, I'm going to catch you on the next broadcast. Happy Sunday. It's a beautiful day, so definitely get out. I'm in Georgia, so go outside, y'all. Get off the internet just for a few minutes. Get off the internet. Enjoy nature. Mix and mingle with people in real life. How about that? And I will catch you on the next broadcast. Take care of yourself and one another. Heavy on take care of yourself. Go out into the world. Show up in a way in which you want others to show up for you. Like attracts like. We are energy. Be positive. Be positive. Think positive. Don't live in fear. Overcome your fears. Make those desires stronger than your fears. Just do it. What Michael Jordan said, just do it. Just do it. Yes, I will catch you all in the next broadcast. I'm Chic. Peace.